India has now hit back at Pakistan's army chief over his reported remarks in the United States, calling them nuclear saber rattling and a hallmark of Pakistan's conduct. Nothing new and nothing surprising with Pakistan's state-sponsored terrorism. And New Delhi says such statements, like the one coming from Asim Munir, only reinforce global doubts about the safety of Pakistan's nuclear command in a state where the military works hand in glove with the terror groups. No more evidence that is needed. The entire world knows it. India also called it regrettable that these comments were made from the soil of a friendly third country. Of course, Asim Munir making those comments in Tampa, Florida, whilst his visit to the United States, stressing that it will never yield to nuclear blackmail, something that has been drawn as those fresh red lines post-Operation Sindoor by the Prime Minister, and will take all steps to protect national security. Major General Rajan Kocha, strategy and defense expert, with us here on the broadcast. General, how does one read into these developments? Because first and foremost, a statement where Asim Munir says we're going to take down the half of the world with us, isn't that going to irk rest of the nations? Shouldn't the White House now be responding in rebuking these statements? With global realignment being looked at with Donald Trump's tariffs and, of course, this post-Operation Sindoor war frame era, how does India now take its calculated steps here, General?
Kabir, I think first of all, we need to condemn this kind of statements. A nuclear saber rattling, I'll actually call it, because Munir has to understand that there is an agreement in place between India and Pakistan, which was signed on 31st of December 1988 by Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi and Benazir Bhutto, which came into force on 27th of January 1991, which actually says that both the countries agreed not to attack each other's nuclear facility. Having said that, making a statement in a third friendly country is a very, very undiplomatic way of putting across your message to India. And this message, let me tell you, is going to the world, as you rightly said, that Pakistan, as a nuclear nation, and if the nuclear button is in the hands of people like General Munir, cannot be relied on. And if America can take action against Iran to stop its nuclear program from developing, I think America also has to take note of
But General,
dismantling the.
isn't this a red-faced moment for the United States as well? Never before on US soil has somebody from another country given a nuclear threat to a third country. And mind you, we are already looking at where United States and India ties are now going to go ahead. And of course, there is a silver lining there with our trade deal and the interim delegation talks still happening. But where does this lead us now? Is there going to be a Truth Social post by Donald Trump? Should we be expecting something like that? Because this is the trigger-happy nation which has no command of its nuclear capabilities and ambit, and it is in hand in glove with the terrorist outfits.
You see, Kabir, what is happening is that Pakistan is having a notion, or this kind of a wrong sort of a notion, that it can ride on the piggyback of the United States and say anything which it wants to state, because it's now seen that of late United States and Pakistan relations are becoming closer to each other, and United States and India's relations are a bit, strained. So I think General Munir is taking the cue from this geopolitical realignment also, because previously one never heard a Pakistani general going to the United States and making such statements, and uh, uh, and he would have been reprimanded for it. But now I think he is quite certain that he is not going to be reprimanded by President Trump, and therefore he is making such kind of a statements. I it will not be too far to suggest also that this kind of provocation may have also been given to him by the American establishment itself, because he has been meeting the top leaders of the United States since he has been there now, and making such a statement gives me, as a common, citizen of the country, an impression that United States seems to be encouraging these kind of statements emanating from its
How
soil.
else would anybody else see it, General? How else would anybody else see it? In Tampa, Florida, on an official visit in the United States, you're uttering these sentences? I mean, also help us understand when the Prime Minister says that we're not going to bow down or pay heed to any other nuclear blackmail. What is this trigger-happy, for the lack of a better word, crazy army general on the other side of the border thinks that he can do? On the Indus waterfront, he says, well, you build a dam, we're going to use 10 missiles to destroy it. Now, of course, we're not going to pay heed, and quite rich a statement coming from Asim Munir. But he is trigger-happy, and anything can happen. What do you have to say on that front, General?
Kabir, I would like to suggest to the government now. Uh, we have a nuclear doctrine which says the second strike capability we have to have as far as the nuclear is. Whereas Pakistan's nuclear doctrine propagates a first usage nuclear action. So I think time has come now, because you see the circumstances are changing every day. I think the time has come now to review our own nuclear doctrine and to include the first use strike in case it is required in with Pakistan. We should not wait for Pakistan to launch a nuclear strike on us and only then you retaliate. Because earlier we were a responsible nation. We always felt that we should not be the first person to initiate a nuclear strike. But I think with these kind of statements which are emanating, and also he's trying to, if you would have noticed, he trying to link the nuclear issue also with the Indus Water Treaty. He's also trying to suggest that if you make a dam, we are going to dismantle it, as if his missiles can enter India as and when they desire, because we have shown it in Operation Sindoor that none of the Pakistani missiles could make it inside India. But that is, besides the point. The important aspect I would like to emphasize here is the time has come now for India to review its nuclear doctrine. And if Pakistan's doctrine can have the first use, why not ours?
The Indian Air Force also released a very emphatic and a very symbolic video in the last 24 hours, General. You must have seen that as well. And mind you, to the viewers as well, and to the Pakistan Army General, if he's watching this, maybe somewhere on some tabloid, Operation Sindoor is not over. It has only been put on hold. It has only been suspended. You're talking about a review of the nuclear doctrine. Are we going to be taking pacey steps on that front, General, before we let you go, finally?
No, certainly, certainly, I think, because with this kind of government stand on having a new normal, I think the new normal should also include a review of the war doctrine, if of the nuclear war doctrine. If our own war doctrine has undergone a review with the new normal now, and we are not going to wait for anybody to ask us. We are going to strike Pakistan in case there is a terrorist strike on India. Why not you first use a nuclear doctrine as part of the new normal? So I would, through your channel, appeal to the government and the policymakers to review this entire thing of the nuclear
All right.
option we have, in light of these kind of provocative statements being made by the Pakistani field marshal.
Absolutely, General, because you see, Pakistan has also inked that deal with the crypto company in which Donald Trump's kin has 60% stake. Can you imagine Donald Trump his special envoy, Mr. Witkoff, playing golf on a Sunday, and then Shehbaz Sharif calls them in, and there's a crypto deal. Witkoff's son, Zachary Witkoff, Donald Trump's own son, part of that deal. It's all hunky-dory. There seems to be no problem on that particular front, and Donald Trump has said it time and again, taken to Truth Social, how he's hyphenated India and Pakistan. He knows it's a big issue for us here back at home. He's sort of trying to arm twist us to that trade deal as well. But now we're looking at 50% trade tariffs as well. What else do we have to lose here? Is this turning out to be a situation of India going against the corner here? And will we come out blazing with all fists? Well, we'll have to wait and watch. Only time will tell. Major General Raju Kochar, many thanks for joining us here on the broadcast and helping us out with your insightful inputs on this particular front.